everybody, welcome back to Bonsai Tortoise. Today, we're hatching tortoise eggs. All right, and here we have our handy dandy homemade incubator. So, as you can see, it's pretty much full of tortoise eggs. These are all Redfoot eggs right now. All we have are Redfoots laying, so that's what this is. But you can see we have egg trays here, 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 and here, and then I'll leave an open slot at the bottom. So this here will be what I place the eggs in that are preparing to hatch. So one thing I do when I know that eggs are about to hatch is I'll increase the humidity in that egg tray a little bit. So I'm not spraying the eggs directly, but what I will do is I will spray water inside all the corners of the egg trays just to bump that humidity up a little bit so it makes it easier for them when they hatch out. So these are the most recent eggs that have been laid. So you can see I mark them with who laid it. So W is for Woody. The date it was laid. These were just laid the other day. And the date they're expected to hatch. So the date they're expected to hatch is 120 days from the day they're laid. Full disclosure, mine never ever hatch in 120 days. I've never had a Redfoot hatch in 120 days. If I don't have a mark there for who laid it, I know it's actually Buzz, because Buzz is the one that lays all the eggs. So you can see this one doesn't have any identifier on which tortoise laid it, but I know this one was Buzz because she's the one that lays most of the eggs. I don't bother putting it there. So that's pretty much how I do it. And if you look in here, take this off. We have a little baby Redfoot hatching right down there. This one was marked to hatch on February 26th. Today is March 22nd. So this one actually went 222 days to pip. You can see its little foot sticking out there. So we're going to take this egg out of the incubator here. We'll check to see if any more are pipping, and we're going to put it in a separate egg container and allow it to hatch that way. So this is pretty straightforward. We have our egg container. You can see I drill a couple holes in the sides of these just for air movement. You don't want to drill too many because you don't want too much air movement, because you want to maintain the humidity, but just so they can have some fresh air in there. So we have our air container. We have paper towels. I'm going to line this with moist paper towels and make a little donut. So these paper towels, they're not wet, they're moist. And you probably are going to want to re-moisten these every couple days, but just line this in the bottom, just like that. Then a couple more paper towels, wet these, and I'm using warm water. Bring it out. I'm just going to make a little donut. That hatching egg will sit right there.
You can allow them to hatch on their own in the vermiculite. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just find this method easier and cleaner. So all I do at this point is put it in that donut facing the same way it was in the other egg container.
All right, day 2 on our tortoise eggs hatching. We're going to check them out, see how they're doing. All right, so this one's out a little bit more. See his little egg tooth there. One thing you don't want to do is mess with them while they're hatching. Just let them do their thing. I just make sure that they're moving a little bit. So you just kind of poke them. And he's doing good. We also threw another one in there. We will check our egg box to see if there's any more hatching in here. Yep. There's one coming out of the egg right now, so we'll set that one up and go from there. But I don't see any other signs of hatching. So simple enough. We got our moist paper towel. Make a little donut. Put that there. Carefully grab your egg. Put that one right there. Interesting to note, these eggs are dated differently. So you can see this one was laid, you can't see it there, but that's actually November 4th, and it was due to hatch March 4th. This one was laid October 29th, and it's due to hatch, this little guy broke away from it, but it was due to hatch February 26th. So these are hatching roughly at the same time, about a day apart. And this one had much longer of a head start, so that one took longer to incubate. It was 222 days since it first pipped. Same thing with this one. These two are the same clutch. So this one's hatching a little bit sooner.
There's general guidelines on tortoise egg incubation time. For redfoots, it's 120 days. For Greeks, it's between 55 and 70, but they can go much longer than that. Therefore, it's hard to determine when they'll actually come out of the egg. So you need to be patient and just monitor your eggs to make sure that they're still good.
All right, still on day 2 of this egg hatch now, and he's pretty much out of the egg. You can see he's broken free. He's got his little yolk sac down there. There's the baby tortoise and his yolk sac. We're going to just leave this guy right in the paper towel. I'm going to take this eggshell out and all the rest of them. That yolk sac will probably be absorbed within a day or two, and then he'll be ready to go into the enclosure. And I still have a couple more of his clutch mates here hatching out as well. All right, day 3, checking on the hatchlings. And that one you can see moved off of this little donut there. Let's check his yolk sac. Still pretty big, but it's moving around. We're going to put it right back there. He'll probably crawl out again. There's the old eggshell. We'll get rid of that. And these other ones are slowly coming out. So that's the morning of day 3. All right, day 4 with this little guy hatching. Let's see how his yolk sac is doing. Absorbed a little bit more, but he's looking good. Still not ready to come out of the incubator. All right, it's the next day, checking on this guy again. Oh, he's really absorbing that really good. I'm going to say maybe another day, and this guy will be able to go into his new enclosure. Looking good. You can see his little egg tooth on the tip of his nose there. That'll fall off in a week or two. These guys are doing their thing. We'll just leave them to come out of their eggs whenever they're ready. All right, so this guy's pretty much absorbed the bulk of his yolk sac. So what happens next is we will soak him and put him in his new enclosure. Actually, the other 2 came out as well. They're almost there too, but you can see this one's still got some funky shapes going on. He'll straighten out. All right, so we have our hatchlings. I think we're actually good to go to put all these guys in their enclosure. But here's the one we have been watching. So he's got a little bit of a yolk sac still there, but he's ready to go. So we're going to put him in the water. Now this is fairly lukewarm water. There's that guy. He's good to go. And that guy. So we're just let them soak for, 20 minutes in this water. So here's the hatchling enclosure that I keep all the Redfoot hatchlings in. You can see I have some damp sphagnum moss. I keep this nice and moist. Underneath that, the next layer down is cypress mulch, and underneath that is organic potting soil mixed with some sphagnum moss. So the sphagnum moss is all throughout the enclosure. We have a hide here. This hide, actually, the openings aren't that big, so this is only good for hatchlings. It's actually a gecko hide, but that's besides the point. So we have other hatchlings that are soaking, some UVB, heat lamp, and we're good to go. Keep a thermometer in here at all times, so if you look at that, Humidity is at 94%, and the ambient is 82 down that side, and the hot spot's way over there on the other side of that, right there. And in these closures, you really don't have to, but I have this temperature and humidity sensor here, and I also have a backup, really for no reason, just because I like that backup. So this is a humidity probe and a temperature probe as well. Okay, and here's our fresh hatchlings. I thought this guy was actually kind of cool with the funky markings he has in the scutes compared to these two. These are the more normal colored ones, and then this guy's got that mottling in the scutes. And a little bit more of an orange head. Same mom, same dad. So, a bunch of, different characteristics. Okay, for comparison's sakes, this is a 1.5 month old hatchling right here. And that's how quick they can grow. Within a few days, this guy was eating, no problem. He's like a voracious machine now. But, so these guys, they probably won't eat right away. But we will expect them to start eating in the next few days. Okay, and all I do is I take them in, I put them directly under the hotspot so they, in case they need some warmth, they get it. They would find it on their own anyway, but that way they can kind of, I don't know, it's just a thing I do. You can also see I keep a rock under the hotspot, which helps them absorb heat. And that's that 1.5-month-old right there. All right, so they'll live in there as long as they're here and go from there. If we're gonna do a quick comparison, and obviously these different sizes don't live together. So these are the hatchlings. That's the fresh hatchling. That's that 1.5-month-old. You can see, if they stay still, you can see that size difference already. This is almost a yearling. This is a May 2020 hatchling right there. And this is a 2-year-old. So you can see the difference between that yearling and the 2-year-old, and that yearling, the fresh hatchling, and the 2-year-old. Pretty good shells. So these are the only two that stay in this enclosure. The other two have their own enclosures to go into. So this is really cool. I mentioned how this guy has a different colored shell, the modeling in the scutes there. And I don't know if it'll last, but normally my Redfoots come out looking like this. And you can see from this guy who's a little bit older, they kind of stay the same color. I mean, they're still beautiful in my eyes, but these bright colors are pretty impressive. I have too many Redfoots. I doubt he's going to be a holdback, but there's always the temptation to have a holdback. But if I did, it would be this guy. Yeah, those are cherry head colors. But he's not a cherry head. It's just a regular old Redfoot. All right, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed me walking you through the process of hatching a Redfoot egg after it starts pipping. And a little bit about how we set them up. So these guys are, they're pretty easy as long as you have the right parameters. Humidity is really important, especially when they're hatchlings. Soaks are really important. Tomorrow we'll offer these new guys. This is that older hatchling. These three are the ones that just came out. But tomorrow we'll offer them some fresh greens to see if they want to eat. They probably won't, but that's okay too. They still got some of the redness of their yolk sac going on in there, so they'll be okay. But I'm sure in a few days they'll start eating, and we'll be good to go. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you again. Bye.